What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And today our esoteric topic is going to be a channeled chit chat. This is just something, it sort of has something to do with current events that are going on now. I don't really like to focus on current events or what the media is saying or things like that, but you know, I was guided to do this as an energetic healer. You know, I strongly identify with, you know, my role here in a human suit. So this is just my obligation to kind of do this. So I do want to say first off that this is going to be random. It is going to be based off of something that I channeled the other day regarding current events that are going on planet Earth right now. So if you feel that this is something that does not resonate with you, remember this is not going to be anything having to do with science or medicine or anything like that. This is going to be pure channel regarding the fourth dimensional influence that you know, is occurring on planet Earth right now. If you are not interested in this, please, there's so many other videos on YouTube that you would have much more pleasure watching than this. So, you know, if you are interested, then, you know, stay tuned. Here we go. So now I tend to overly, like, I you know, when I'm channeling, it's very rapid, so pardon me if I'm moving fast. But okay, so the thing that I channeled the other day is regarding the current events. It's now March 2020, in case, you know, I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but I feel that this is going to be applicable at any point, okay, because it's going to be a general topic, and this is going to be a topic regarding awareness versus fear, okay, because, you know, like those situations might always be presenting themselves to us as long as we are in physical human suits, right? So if you're aware of the current events that are going on right now, the channel that I did receive from, if you're familiar with any of my other channeled videos, I have contact with a what I know as a fourth dimensional satanic mafia whistleblower, okay? So like I said, if you're not resonating with this, you know, there are plenty of other videos you can watch that you'll enjoy more. So, you know, but this is was conveyed to me. This is my truth, and is my duty as an energetic healer to share it with those who do resonate, and will take some resonance in the messages here. So I was seeing pictures, you know, of people basically in states of what I would call fear-based distress, okay? I was just seeing photos of these individuals, and of course I don't know any of them personally, but it just looked like you know, individuals who are in a frenzied or panic state, okay? You know, toilet paper get in and you know what I mean? That's just what I'm gonna call it, toilet paper get in, okay? So yeah, I was seeing pictures along those lines, and I'm like looking at it, and I was studying, and I'm just kind of like, what is the purpose of the media publishing this? Like, I really didn't understand, okay? You know, and I understand it on a level where it's current events, it's news, and you know, that's, I guess, sort of their job, you know, reporting what's going on. But why report things that are more fear-based, okay? And just me personally, I notice that the media tends to do this no matter what. It's like, you know, if you ever watch the news, you'll see there'll be 17 stories with like a lower energetic vibration. They'll be fear-based, and they'll be like, at the very end, or for like 5 seconds, there'll be like, you know, a love-based story, like, oh, you know, kitten gets rescued from drain by Good Samaritan or something like that, right? But everything else is like womp womp womp, you know. So I'm like, okay, I understand it sort of on an intellectual level, right? I understand it on a spiritual level what the media does. It's a lot of fear-based propaganda, okay? And that's my view. If you agree or if you disagree, that's on you, right? Everyone, you know, has a right to their own expressions and views. That's what makes us each, you know, beautifully unique. But I saw this picture and I was like, I didn't know like what, but I was just looking at it and I didn't know if I should laugh because toilet paper geddon is just, you know what I mean? Like, how can you not find humor in like that? You know what I'm saying? And we've all seen the memes, of course we have. But, you know, I'm like, what is this, right? And so, you know, the fourth dimensional satanic mafia whistleblower, just boom, like, you know, and again, this is from their perspective. Not every being in the fourth dimension is corrupted or has ulterior purposes or things like that. There, you know, there are many different beings there. Okay, this is just one group of the fourth dimension, and this not the being that I commune with, but they are whistleblowers, so they are somewhat affiliated with that. And immediately I received the message, okay, and I laughed when I heard this, right? I laughed, like, in my mind. And it's funny, but at the same time it isn't, and I'm going to explain why, okay? So the message that I received was, when I was looking at that picture of toilet paper geddon, the message that I received was, watch, because I think I sort of was asking like why would this be like front page headline news on my tablet popping up, you know. The message I received verbatim was, watch the animals scram. And I was like, huh. And if you've watched any of my other channeled videos, a lot of times I will mention how what I've been shown in the fourth dimension is that there are energetic beings, much like the third dimension, who are conducting experiments on animals, like a lab rat or a lab rabbit or something to that effect, right? We're all familiar with that. I personally do not endorse that, but that's the, you know, the greatest example I could use here. There are beings in the fourth dimension who are also scientists conducting experiments. And they are conducting experiments on human beings, okay? Because third dimension is lower than the fourth dimension, right? It's above, it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, and you go on and on. So the fourth dimension can look into the third dimension and see things that when we are in physical bodies in the third dimension, we are not always aware of, okay? And many of us, at times, you know, we are in higher dimensions. We're in 5D, 6D, 11D, whatever, right? But as long as we are in a human vehicle, there's always going to be some sort of it's like the anchor to the physical domain, okay? And beings that do not have bodies, they do not have that anchor to the physical domain. Therefore, at any given moment, they can see things that when we are in our third dimensional human state, especially in an ego-frenzied state, they can definitely see things that we cannot, okay? And that's what I'm talking about, a scientist conducting an experiment on an animal. Now, the message that I received, watch the animals scram. Animals meant humans. And to those beings in the fourth dimension, we in human suits, they view us as animals. Not everyone in the fourth dimension, okay? I'm going to keep saying that. But those scientists in the fourth dimension, I'm not sure what they're called there. You know, maybe one day I'll know, but not right now, I don't. So I will just refer to them as scientists for the sake of this, you know, make it easy for us. They are watching the humans scram, right? Like they're looking and conducting experiments, and they're throwing in something here, they're taking something away there. they're able to manipulate the third dimension from their higher perspective, just because they can look into and see things that in a human suit many of us cannot, not at all times. Okay, now what I mean by scram, because I wanted to look that up whenever I channel, and I channel this, so it's just information that boom, 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 like lightning bolt, right? I'm like, huh? Like what? And then I'll do my own research just so I can give you guys a better perspective of what I mean. I'm like, scram, like what? Like beat it, scram, like, get out of here? No. So I looked it up, and it basically, what I came up with, this was like, you know what, I'm just gonna read the definition because I don't want to mess it up. I want to be able to tell you what I saw. So scram, in the instance that it was conveyed to me, if we want to look it up, you can look it up too, like I looked this up straight online. This is definition number 2: shut down a nuclear reactor in an emergency. Okay, so shut down a nuclear reactor in an emergency, right? So if we want to think of current events or really any type of emergency, right, there's going to be somewhat of a shutdown. The ego is going to really shut down all of the senses that are conducive to just being in the moment. Okay, they're going to shut that down. They're going to really make it difficult to be in the moment, because essentially what the ego is trying to do is just shut down any other type of awareness other than what the perceived emergency going on is. Okay, it's going to send signals to the brain to really increase the heart rate. It's going to send signals to the brain to kind of get into that fight or flight mode. It's going to send signals to the brain to just shut down all components to the human body that are not going to that are not valid in a state of emergency. It's going to shut them down. Okay, so that's what scram meant. That was conveyed to me. I do want to tell you that. And then I looked up nuclear because that was relevant as well. Now nuclear, we're using the definition. Again, you can look this up on your own if you so desire. This is relating to biology, and this says nuclear DNA, nucleus of a cell. Okay, so cells. The human body contains cells. Scram, shut down cells that are non-essential unless it's regarding that fight or flight emergency response. Okay, then I took it a step further, because why wouldn't I looked up nucleus, and again, you can look this up if you so desire. It said the central and most important part of an object, movement, or group, forming the basis for its activity and growth. Okay, so I circled that, and then I underlined where it said anatomy. This is still under nucleus, by the way. It says a discrete mass of gray matter in the central nervous system. And central nervous system was underlined. And mind you, I'm in like a state of trance, right? Like I'm in a state of trance. Like I channeled that. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I'm reading it to you. It might sound a little wonky that I'm saying it now, but I'm trying to get you to really understand like how it was conveyed to me and what I mean by that. So I wanted to read the definitions just so, if you want to like fact checked, or if you want to do your own research, then please feel free to do so. Okay, do not ever take my word as gospel. Take what you know, what you resonate with as gospel, because you know yourself better than anyone. I know myself better than anyone, and I want to convey my message as clearly as I can, because sometimes I get a little jumbled. Third house Mercury, I'm gonna say that in every video so you guys know. So now the central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The brain plays a central role in the control of most bodily functions, including awareness, movements, sensations, thoughts, speech, and memory. Okay, So now that we have all of that, right? Awareness, movements, sensations, thoughts, bodily functions, right? I mean, is that what toilet paper getting had to do with? I don't know. But this was very interesting to me, regardless of what the current events are now. It's just that the current events did, you know, kind of bring that channel on, just because I was presented with a picture and then the information, you know, was received. But this can really apply at any time during our experience on Earth, okay? There are fourth dimensional beings that conduct experiments on humans because they consider humans to be animals, okay? Fourth dimensional perspective, they are very, very intelligent there, okay? Don't think that they're, you know, they're not stupid, okay? I don't know how to explain it better than that, okay? And they can see things that we in a physical human suit cannot always see, okay? So they're conducting experiments, and because they are energetic beings, they are not necessarily conducting experiments on a human's physical body. They're conducting experiments, as I just read how I got to the central nervous system, on the movements, the way a human's thought process works, okay? So in a state of emergency, in a fight or flight type of experience, right? When the ego shuts down everything that is irrelevant to keeping the body safe, right? They are sort of, they're testing it out. They're testing out what sort of stimuli is going to work to get the humans to scram, to move, to shut down, to get the animals to really do what they want, okay? And many things, okay, many things that go on in the third dimension are actually orchestrated and manipulated by fourth dimensional beings, okay? So with that being said, the conduction of experiments is really to see how the human body's nervous system responds to, let's say, what someone reads, what someone hears, what someone else tells that individual, what is presented to someone in a song, in a book, in a magazine, on the news, okay? It's all presented in a way to sort of test the nervous system of the human animal to see what's gonna cause them to give that fight or flight response, okay? Because again, in some of my other videos, there are feeders, there are feeder demons in the fourth dimension that they like to feed off of human adrenaline. So there are, you know, the scientists in the fourth dimension that are conducting these experiments, and they are seeing how the humans react, how the animals scram, okay? They want to watch the animals scram. They want to see if we calibrate an energy and then have it materialized in the third dimension as XYZ or ABC, and this could be anything. This could be a volcanic eruption, okay? It could be an earthquake, it could be a tsunami, okay? It could be, you know, another human, a well-known or famous human might be prevalent in the media for something that they did, something that they caught, something that they had, something that they said, right? Anything to show resonance. Like in the third dimension, they will select a certain individual or place or whatever to really manipulate that and see how everyone is going to react, okay? And many times humans react on an animal instinct level, their central nervous system. When they see someone else, let's say in harm's way or diseased or uncomfortable, immediately, because they resonate with that human frequency, you know, as everyone in a human suit is going to resonate on that human frequency, okay? it's going to cause a reaction in them, in their nervous system, which is going to basically control their thoughts. It's going to control the way they move, the way they perceive things, right? And so it's not necessarily a physical experiment where they're injecting a lab rat with poison A and then giving them a vaccine for poison B, okay? It's more of like how the fourth dimensional scientists are going to calibrate energy to send to the third dimension, okay? And there's a lot of talk of, you know, 5G and 5G radiation, things like that. So that is interesting. It's very interesting, okay? Because now we're dealing with high frequency radioactivity, okay? And these are energetic beings in the fourth dimension, and they communicate energetically. So think of through a cell phone, through a TV, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be them materializing something into the material realm. It can be something where through a radio frequency they can transmit a certain thought process into the central nervous system, and then that individual that's receiving that, all of a sudden they're brainwashed and they're just moving about like a zombie, like they don't know what they're doing, but it's really they're brainwashed, okay? So that might sound a little out there, but you know, I do have to convey it as it's being, you know, conveyed to me. So that's food for thought. If this doesn't resonate with you, then it doesn't. If it does, it does. But please conduct your own research, whether you are resonating with my messages or if you're not. Like, if you truly believe in something, right, you want to always make sure you conduct your own research. You don't want to base your actions, your thoughts, your opinions by what others are doing, okay, even if they are also in human suits, especially during times of perceived crisis, okay, because fear is a frequency, and the masses, even if they are not physically affected by something, right, they're not physically affected by something, but they think there's a potential to be physically affected by something that another being in a human suit is going through, that is going to cause a fear-based reaction. And it only takes one individual to do something in a fear-based frequency that someone else is going to see that and think that, oh, hey, they're doing it, so why can't I do it, right? So that's why I will always say fact check. Just because someone else is doing this, that does not mean you have to. Just because, you know, a perceived authority, a figure says to do this, if it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it, okay? If there's an awareness about current events, it's totally different than being in fear of current events. Now, the difference between being aware and being scared, this is an example that came to me when I was thinking of what I was going to say to this video, for this video, is let's say you are aware that you have to cross the street to get to the other side. Why did the chicken cross the road? You're aware that you have to cross the street to get to the other side. Now, there's a potential for a car to come from this direction, there's a potential for a car to come from that direction, right? Even if it's a one-way street, you know, whatever, right? Someone might be riding a bike, someone might be skateboarding, right? Your path might encounter something else, right? If you're crossing the street. Are you going to live in fear of crossing the street? Are you going to live in fear of just taking that first step across the street? Or are you going to be aware, right? Are you going to be aware that, yes, there's a potential that a car may come from this direction, or a car may come from that direction, or maybe a flying zebra just might, you know, there might be a parade of like hyenas that are crossing the road. Who knows, right? There's a potential for anything, okay? There's an awareness of the potential for anything. There's not a fear of it. You're going to look one way, look the other way, be aware that there can be things that might cross your path as you're crossing the street, but you're not afraid. You're just looking. Oh, over here, okay, looks good. Over here, okay, good. It feels like this is a good decision to cross the street, so that's what I'm going to do. You're aware, right? But you're not in fear. Fear mentality is someone putting on like a bulletproof vest, full body armor. I mean, someone who wants to jump inside a military tank and then roll across the street. That's fear-based, okay? Awareness-based is simply, I know the potential that there can be something that comes from another direction as I'm crossing the street, but I'm aware of that. And I'm going to look one way, I'm going to look the other way, I'm going to see that the coast is clear, it is safe for me to cross the street. And that's really the best example that I can give. I'm sure there are plenty of others, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. So especially with the media, okay, you know, a lot of times things that are fear-based tend to be blown out of proportion. Much of the media, a lot of, probably a good amount, a decent amount of the media, you know, obviously is run by third dimensional beings who are being influenced by fourth dimensional beings. Okay, that's a whole other topic though, but the media is also another way to sort of keep that ego in check, to really keep that bubble of fear on, like oh, but this is saying that and that is saying that. It's like, okay, use your own discernment, okay? Just because everyone else is saying this, or the media is saying this, or like someone who is perceived as an authority figure is saying this, if it does not resonate with you, please conduct your own research. Please do what feels right to you. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition is never going to steer you wrong, okay? But my whole purpose, you know, for making this video is to really let those who resonate know that there is absolutely no fun in living in fear, okay? Living in awareness is totally different than living in fear, okay? You can be aware of the potential for anything, okay? Because in a limitless universe, there is a potential for anything and everything that you can conceive of in your mind. Now, would that potential be likely to occur? That depends how much energy you personally are putting into it. You cannot do anything for anyone else. You cannot think for anyone else. You cannot live for anyone else. You cannot believe or feel an emotion for anyone else. And by feel emotion, I don't mean you don't feel anything for them. I mean you can't make them feel a certain way, right? So if someone around you is fear-based and it doesn't resonate with you, don't give into the temptation of fear just because someone else is afraid and they want you to join them in their fear, okay? Join them in awareness. Say to them, listen, that's on you, and I understand why you feel that way. I see things this way, and that's what resonates with me. So that's really what I wanted to say. There are beings in the fourth dimension that are viewing us as animals, okay? You know, what are you gonna do? You know, we kind of are, right? In a human suit, we are kind of an animal. And what they're doing right now, what they've been doing for a while, but just now I feel like it's more heightened, which is why I was, you know, guided to make this broadcast. They are really observing the reaction of fear on the masses, okay? They are observing how the central nervous system works so that they can calibrate their energy to really influence, not only by seeing things visually or hearing through a song or anything like that, but actually through radio frequencies that are that they're trying to calibrate to the human nervous system, okay? So But yeah, I think I kind of covered everything that I want to cover. You know, when I channel, when I'm making channeling videos, they tend to be a little bit longer, but that's just because I want you to, you know, receive the message as best that I can explain it. And sometimes, you know, we meander along, okay? But the bottom line is that, yes, there are fourth dimensional beings that are, not all of them, as I said, there are fourth dimensional energetic scientists that are studying what the effects of fear have on the animals. Watch the animals scram, right? So they can calibrate their energetic equipment to really be more in sync with the nervous system of the human body, so that they can have more potential control, right? Just like a lab rat, if you want to control how fast it runs through the maze to get to the cheese or whatever it is, you're going to do different things, and you're going to want to experiment, you know, just because they think that, you know, and I'm not speaking for all scientists, you know, but a lot of times it's like a superiority complex for some, not all, okay, for some, that, oh, that's just an animal, and, you know, I'm bigger and I'm smarter and blah, blah, blah. So it's sort of like that. It's sort of like control. And this is the best way that I can describe the fourth dimensional entities. It's like a superiority complex. They get their rocks off on it, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, okay? They like it. And they think it's interesting. Like if you, I don't know, I don't know what other example I could give. Like I think like the lab rat or the lab bunny is probably the best one, but hopefully you get the idea, you know, just what I talked about. And remember, like the more you feed any type of fear-based anything, the more energy that you're devoting to that, and the more energy anyone devotes to anything, the more likely things of that energetic vibration are going to gravitate towards you. So if everyone around you is in fear and you're in awareness, that in itself is a strength, because you are aware of any possibility of any and every outcome, but you are choosing not to participate in frenzied activity. You are choosing to observe things and then to move with what feels right to you. You're choosing to resonate more in the vibration of love and seeing things like, sure, this can be a possible outcome, but you know what? There can be an even better outcome where things turn out even better than this, and you just have to elevate above that, okay? So very important there. Choose to be aware and not to be scared, okay? So I think that's about it for this esoteric channel chit chat. I am Oculus, the alien next door. Peace, the good vibes. We will chit chat again soon, and namaste. Blessed, because you are.